Welcome, dear readers. There comes a moment in every life when the ground beneath us trembles, when the very fabric of our existence frays, and we are left standing in the wreckage of what we once knew. It is in these moments, when certainty dissolves, when the familiar turns foreign, when the path forward is obscured by doubt and fear, that we are truly tested. And yet, what if I told you that within this very uncertainty lies an invitation? An invitation not to resist, but to embrace, not to flee, but to remain, not to despair, but to discover a deeper truth? When Things Fall Apart is not just a book, it is a beacon for the weary, a hand extended to those who find themselves lost in the chaos of life's unraveling. Written with piercing clarity and boundless compassion, Pema Chödrön guides us through the storm with wisdom that is both ancient and immediate. She does not offer empty platitudes or false reassurances. Instead, she invites us to sit with our pain, to breathe into our fears, and to find in the midst of suffering the seeds of profound transformation. So let me ask you, what if your suffering was not a sign of failure, but a gateway to awakening? What if, instead of turning away from pain, you leaned into it, allowing it to soften your heart and deepen your understanding of what it means to be truly alive? With each page of this book, you will be called to examine your relationship with fear, with uncertainty, and with the very nature of impermanence itself. You will be challenged to let go of the illusion of control and to find peace in the ever-changing dance of life. This is not an easy journey, but it is a necessary one. And as you step into the teachings of Pema Chödrön, you will find that even in the darkest moments, there is light to be found, not in resisting what is, but in embracing it fully. This book will not rescue you from hardship, but it will illuminate a path through it. It will teach you that even when things fall apart, you are not broken, you are breaking open. So, if you have ever felt the sting of loss, the ache of loneliness, the weight of uncertainty, take heart. You are not alone. The wisdom within these pages is a lantern in the darkness, guiding you toward a profound truth, that even in the midst of life's most difficult moments, there is a way to find peace, grace, and even joy. Welcome to When Things Fall Apart. Part 1 Summary of When Things Fall Apart, Hard Advice for Difficult Times by Pema Chödrön. Dear readers, seekers of wisdom, travelers on this journey of life, I invite you now to lean in, to listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because what we are about to explore is not just a book, not just words on a page, but a deep, transformative truth, a truth that speaks to the moments when life cracks open beneath our feet, when certainty dissolves into chaos, and when we are left standing in the rubble of what we once knew. This is When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chödrön, a work of profound insight, a guide for navigating the storm, a call to embrace life even when it hurts, even when it is messy, even when we are lost. And so, we begin. Chapter 1. Intimacy with Fear. Fear, our ever-present companion. We try to outrun it, silence it, drown it out with distractions. But Chödrön tells us something revolutionary. What if we stop running? What if, instead, we lean in? She introduces us to the Bodhisattva warrior, not a warrior of violence, but of courage. This is a person who faces fear rather than fleeing from it. The message here is not about eliminating fear, but transforming our relationship with it. We are taught to sit with discomfort, to observe it without trying to fix it, and in doing so, we begin to unravel the power it holds over us. The invitation is clear. Rather than seeking solid ground, we learn to be okay with groundlessness.
And why?
Because life is groundless. We spend our days constructing illusions of stability, but everything is subject to change. What if, instead of fearing this, we embraced it? Chapter 2. When Things Fall Apart. Now, we come to the heart of the matter. What do we do when life, as we know it, shatters? When relationships end, when death comes knocking, when everything we built collapses? We grieve, yes. We hurt, yes. But Chödrön urges us not to turn away from this pain, but to sit with it, to befriend it, to let it teach us. She introduces the practice of Tunglen, a radical, counterintuitive meditation in which we breathe in suffering, not just our own, but the suffering of others, and breathe out relief, peace, and love. Instead of resisting pain, we accept it, transform it, even learn to extend compassion through it. The lesson is this: the pain we try to reject only grows stronger, but the pain we embrace loses its grip. Chapter 3. This very moment is the perfect teacher. We are always waiting for better circumstances, for peace, for happiness. We tell ourselves, when I have more money, when I find love, when I achieve success, then I will be at ease. But Chödrön challenges this illusion. She tells us that the perfect moment is right now. Yes, even if it's painful. Yes, even if it's uncertain. This very moment is our teacher, and everything we need is already here. This idea is not comfortable. It requires us to stop postponing our own awakening. It requires us to recognize that everything, our struggles, our disappointments, our losses, is our path. We don't need a better reality. We need a better relationship with reality. Chapter 4. Relax as it is. Imagine being caught in a riptide. The more you fight, the more you sink. But if you relax, if you go with it, you may find yourself carried to safety. Life is that riptide. And yet we resist. We tense up. We fight against what is. But Chödrön teaches us another way. Relax. Let go. Accept what is. This is not resignation. This is not giving up. It is a deep, profound trust that we do not need to control everything, that we can be okay even in the midst of chaos. Can we soften? Can we open? Can we stop trying to muscle through life and instead let life flow through us? Chapter 5. It's never too late. How often do we tell ourselves that we are too damaged, too broken, too far gone? How often do we believe that our past defines our future? Chödrön shatters this lie. She reminds us, every moment is fresh. Every breath is a new beginning. No matter where we've been, no matter what we've done, we are never beyond the possibility of change, of healing, of becoming. The invitation is always open. The path is always here. And so, we are asked, will we take the step? Will we choose, right now, to live with awareness, with compassion, with courage? Final thoughts on Part 1. This first section of When Things Fall Apart is a powerful call to awaken, to stop running, stop resisting, and start embracing life as it is. It is an invitation to make friends with fear, to recognize that pain is not the enemy, and to trust that even in the darkest moments, we are being called into something deeper, something truer, something real. And so, my friends, the journey has begun. We have stepped onto the path. We have glimpsed the truth. And now, are we willing to walk forward? Because the lessons ahead will only go deeper, challenging us to our very core. Part 2 Summary. My friends, fellow seekers, fellow travelers on this unpredictable road of life. We have already begun this journey into the wisdom of when things fall apart, and in Part 1, we face some of the hardest truths. Life is uncertain. Pain is inevitable. Fear is a part of us. But we also learned that within the storm, within the discomfort, within the very places we resist the most, there lies our freedom. Now we go deeper. Now we explore what it truly means to live with openness, with presence, with radical acceptance. This is where we move beyond simply understanding these ideas and begin to practice them. And so, let us step forward into the next chapters. Let us step forward into the unknown. Chapter 6. Non-aggression and the soft spot. Let's be honest. When we're hurt, when life feels unbearable, our instinct is to lash out. Maybe at others, maybe at the world, maybe even at ourselves. We tighten, we harden, we build walls. But Pema Chödrön invites us to do the opposite. Instead of hardening, she asks us to soften. Instead of fighting, she asks us to lean in with compassion. At the core of every person, beneath the layers of fear, of anger, of defensiveness, there is a soft spot, a tender, open space within us. It is this soft spot that connects us to others, to love, to life itself. The challenge is this: can we stay open, even when everything in us wants to shut down? Can we respond to suffering with tenderness instead of aggression? The answer, my friends, is yes. But it requires practice. And that practice begins now. Chapter 7. Hopelessness and Death. These words, hopelessness and death, they sound frightening, don't they? We spend our lives avoiding them. We grasp at hope, at control, at anything that makes us feel safe. But Chödrön turns this thinking upside down. She teaches us that true peace comes when we stop grasping. When we let go of hope, let go of our need for things to be a certain way, let go of our endless fight against reality. This is not a message of despair. It is a message of freedom. Because when we drop our attachments, when we stop clinging to how things should be, we discover something profound. We are free to be fully alive. Death is not just the end of life. It is happening every moment. The death of plans, the death of identities, the death of certainty. But when we embrace this, when we stop fearing it, we become fearless. And in that fearlessness, we discover true peace. Chapter 8. 8 Worldly Dharmas. Imagine you are walking through life carrying a set of scales, constantly measuring your worth based on external circumstances, praise or blame, gain or loss, pleasure or pain, fame or disgrace. These, Chödrön says, are the 8 worldly dharmas, the illusions that keep us trapped in suffering. We chase after praise, after success, after comfort, believing they will make us happy. But happiness built on external things is fragile. What happens when we are criticized instead of praised? When we fail instead of succeed? When we lose what we love? If our peace depends on things going our way, then we will never truly be free. But if we learn to let go of these attachments, to stop measuring our worth by what happens to us, then we can find a peace that nothing can shake. Chapter 9. The 6 kinds of loneliness. Loneliness. We all experience it. But what if loneliness wasn't something to fear? Chödrön presents a radical idea. Loneliness is not a problem. It is a teacher. She speaks of 6 kinds of loneliness, 6 ways in which we find ourselves feeling alone, lost, or disconnected. And she asks us, instead of running from loneliness, can we sit with it? Can we allow it to be what it is, without needing to change it or fill the empty space? Because when we do, something unexpected happens. The loneliness transforms into spaciousness, into peace, into a deep, unshakable connection with everything around us. Chapter 10. Curious about existence. When was the last time you looked at life with pure wonder? Not trying to analyze it, not trying to control it, just curiosity, an openness to the mystery of it all? Chödrön encourages us to approach life with a beginner's mind. Instead of always seeking answers, always needing certainty, can we embrace not knowing? Can we look at the world, not with fear, but with awe? This, my friends, is the key to joy, the key to true presence. Because life is not meant to be solved, it is meant to be experienced. Final thoughts on part 2. At this point in our journey, we are no longer just reading words. We are being asked to change. We are being asked to soften, even when we want to harden. Let go, even when we want to grasp. Accept uncertainty, even when we want control. Stay present, even when it hurts. And in doing so, we are being led towards something deeper than happiness, deeper than comfort. We are being led toward freedom. But the path is not over yet. Oh no, my friends. There is still more to uncover, more to let go of, more to awaken within ourselves. And so, I ask you, are you ready to continue? Because in part 3, We will explore the final truths, the most transformative lessons, the wisdom that can change the way we see life forever. If you are ready, then let's go. The journey is not over. It is only beginning. Part 3 Summary. My friends, fellow seekers, fellow wanderers on this ever-unfolding path, we have walked together through the fire. We have sat with discomfort, embraced impermanence, and begun to understand that true peace is not found in control, but in surrender. But now, we come to the final leg of our journey. This is where we move beyond understanding and into embodiment. This is where we stop just learning and start living the wisdom. This is where transformation happens. So take a deep breath. Step forward with courage. Let us finish what we have begun. Chapter 11. Not causing harm. In a world that so often operates from fear and anger, what would it look like to live with true non-harm? Not just in our actions, but in our thoughts, in our words, in the way we treat ourselves and others? Chödrön teaches us that one of the most radical things we can do is practice gentleness. Not just with the world, but with ourselves. She calls us to stop feeding the fires of aggression, to let go of our need to always be right, always be in control, always defend ourselves. Because the truth is, my friends, our greatest suffering does not come from what happens to us. It comes from how we respond. And if we can learn to respond with kindness instead of fear, with openness instead of defensiveness, we will be free. Chapter 12. Hopelessness and the 3 poisons. The 3 great poisons of life. 1. Passion, clinging, craving, attachment. 2. Aggression, anger, hatred, the need to fight. 3. Ignorance, numbing ourselves, avoiding reality. These poisons drive our suffering. They keep us trapped in cycles of pain, always reaching for something outside of ourselves to make us whole. But there is a way out, and that way is acceptance. Chödrön tells us that hope itself can be a trap, because hope is not the same as peace. Hope is built on the idea that something out there will save us, fix us, or bring us happiness. But if we can let go of false hope, if we can stop running, stop resisting, and sit with what is, we will discover a peace far greater than anything hope could offer. Chapter 13. The Path of Fearlessness. What is fearlessness? It is not the absence of fear. No, my friends, it is the willingness to walk forward despite the fear. Chödrön invites us to change our relationship with fear, to see it as a teacher rather than an enemy, to welcome it instead of running from it. Because when we stop fearing fear, it loses its power over us. This is what it means to be truly alive. To stand in the face of uncertainty, of change, of loss, and not shrink away. Not because we are unafraid, but because we are willing to feel everything. Chapter 14. Rejoicing in things as they are. What if, instead of trying to change life, we learn to rejoice in it exactly as it is? Not just when things go our way, not just when life feels good, but in every moment, even the difficult ones. This, Chödrön tells us, is the key to joy. To be able to say, yes, this moment is hard, but I am still here. Yes, this hurts, but I am still breathing. Yes, things are uncertain, but life itself is a miracle. And when we stop resisting, when we stop demanding that life be different, we find freedom in what is. Chapter 15. The Wisdom of No Escape. And so we come to the final, most profound lesson. There is no escape. No escape from suffering. No escape from uncertainty. No escape from the rawness of being human. And that, my friends, is not a tragedy. It is liberation. Because when we stop trying to escape, we begin to truly live. When we stop running, we finally arrive. The truth is, life is not about getting somewhere else. It is about being fully here in this moment, as it is. And when we embrace this, we realize there was never anything to fear. Final thoughts on Part 3 and the entire journey. And now, we stand at the end of this journey. But in truth, this is just the beginning. Because these lessons are not meant to be studied.
They are meant to be lived.
Chödrön does not offer us easy answers or a quick fix. She offers us something far greater: the ability to stand in uncertainty and not collapse, the courage to meet pain with an open heart, the wisdom to see that true peace comes not from escape, but from presence. And so, my fellow travelers, I leave you with one final question. Can you live this? Can you embody this? Can you walk forward into life, not with fear, but with openness? Because if you can, then nothing can ever truly fall apart again. Because you, my friends, will have already learned how to stand in the ruins and build something beautiful. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz reviews and summaries. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new video updates.